All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I'm going to do a quick video today. We're going to talk robotics because there are some very interesting things happening, and really this might be the sector for the month, right? Like tomorrow's going to be really important. Let's see if it confirms. But there were some interesting headlines today, and it looks like there were some in November that I missed, all right? But we're going to talk about iRobot. Look, this is a very, very big 74%. Generally speaking, if you're going to run like, over 50, whatever, post market, you tend to fall hard. This is actually holding really, really well, and that's what I like to see going into tomorrow. Exact same words for KITT. This actually went significantly higher, right? Over 100%. It is going down a little bit after hours, right? But the word is a little bit. Again, generally speaking, if you're going to go up this much, you're either going to fall like all the way down here to a buck 20, or, you're going to hold and go. And that's really what we're hoping for tomorrow, right? Outside of these two more extreme runners today, RR has always been one of my favorite stocks, all right? This was a beautiful, beautiful run, and it really, really wasn't that long ago. 100 moving average, 200 moving average. These are strong lines, and it looks like we might be bouncing on these. And yeah, I really, really like today's candle, let alone the volume, right? When you look at RR, you should always look at SERV, and almost an identical candle right there, right? Good volume as well. I mean, a lot to like on all four of these. So what was it? So first I'll flash this because I actually did not know of this. There was something called the Genesis mission that was announced in late November. So really just a week or two ago, right? Roughly. I don't know exactly when it was, but it's a big focus on AI. Robotics is tightly linked, so there's at least something right there, right? Today, and again, I'm kind of ignoring the headlines right there, but today, this was written today on the 3rd, we see that the Commerce Secretary has been meeting with robotic industry CEOs and is all in on the acceleration. All right. There's actually a pretty good quote down here from him. We are committed to robotics and advancing manufacturing because they are central to bringing critical production back to the United States. All right. When the guy says he's all in and he's committed to verbally the sector that we're looking at, right? Like that's what we're hoping for holds, right? So really all of these were very nice double digits. There's obviously the single one that went over 100, but there's a reason to be looking at this sector right now, right? So on top of that, hey, today was a nice market day, all right? We've been talking about the break of 23,000. We've been talking about needing a good, strong candle. It's funny because the percentage is actually not that big, but that's actually the nicest candle we've had in the last 5 trading days, right? So I like the candle. I wish the percentage was just a little bit bigger. I'm still very much happy. Ooh, excuse me, little hiccup right there. I'm still happy we're over the 2300, but yeah, it's weird to say this. I think I still want just a little bit more to actually make me believe, right? When we look at QQQ, 620 has been the number. We want to break 620. It's actually over all of that right there as well. So there's a lot to like on QQQ, and I think that alone, on top of the fact that we've got some, Trump rumors brewing, has me really, really excited for these robotic stocks right here. All right. So will they continue is going to be answered tomorrow, right? We're not here to get excited over a single candle. We're here for confirmation and to ride some sustainability. That's what we're really looking for, and tomorrow should answer that, all right? So before we do go any further, though, and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontals, and look at that, it lines up almost perfectly with the MAs. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, yo, I'm so grateful for it, all right? So let's get into it, and let's start with KITT. Hey, I will be honest. We saw KITT this morning. I know there was at least one. Yeah, there was one mentioned, and then I followed shortly after. Like KITT looked good, and clearly the whole day came through, right? So what was it again? Just in case you skipped the opening, right? The Commerce Department, literally the Commerce Secretary, the dude on Trump's board, right? He is saying, this is a direct quote from him, we are committed to robotics. And then if you go on up here, he's been meeting with robotics CEOs and is all in on the accelerating the sector's growth, right? That is what we want. We are not here trading for the realities of today. We're trading for the hopes of tomorrow. And if you're telling me the government is liking the sector, wants to back the sector, et cetera, oh yeah, we're going to start looking at the sector, right? And hey, I see it going up after hours. I'm trying not to focus on it going up after hours, and really more than anything, I'm looking for it to not tank after and before, because really that it's such a tough thing, right? So I'll get to that shortly. But look, there is an easy reason to say, hey, we've seen this before. There's been a big pump in volume and then a nasty dump. Big pump in volume. Are we going to see the nasty dump? To me, these are not the same candles. And physically, you can see it. This is a green outline. This is a green filled in. We have different candles for a reason. There is more than just good and bad. I need more than just red and green. So I have filled in and not filled in, right? And what's the difference between these two candles? It's significant. Look at this first one. Look in the box over there. We open all the way up here at $3.16, and then we fall more than 33%, coming all the way down to this 201 close. All right. I know when I'm clicking on this candle, the thing says it actually went up 14%. No, more people lost 33% watching it tank from 3 to 2. This is a bad candle. This is not a good green candle, all right? And that's why this is different than this one. What happened today? Today opens down here at 76 cents, and it truly continues to run the entire day, closing all the way up here at 156. This is a real good candle. This is good green volume. This is bad green volume. This is a bad green candle, right? And again, the way you look at the information in front of you helps you make better decisions, hopefully, right? So nothing's perfect, but hey, our goal is 52% right instead of 48. It does Vegas really well, right? So that's at least the easy reason to say why these two pump and dump potential days are not quite the same, all right? So from there, really, honestly, I keep saying it, after hours not dumping is a real big thing. I'm going to delete this line. But I think as long as we can hold somewhere along the lines between 144 and like 130-ish, 135, like basically this little horizontal, it's not much, all right? It's really not much. But as long as we can hold that like 135, I'm comfortable. Otherwise, we're gonna fall to what's basically 50%, what's basically $1, and it's roughly where the 20 moving average is, right? So I don't want to go below 135. As long as we hold that, all I see is red to some potential green. Look, honestly, I think I need to delete this line, all right? As I zoom back, there's actually nothing going on this right here. My guess is I was trying to see if it would escape right here. I know KITT well. Like KITT's a flipper when it does well, and I think I was trying to see if it could get back over, and it didn't. This is a nothing line. We don't draw lines on bad green candles. We draw them on good ones, right? So in so many ways, it actually is just red, almost all the way to right here at 3 something. All right. I don't want you to think about 3 something. The next immediate target's 2. All right. 210 is basically where I'm clicking. But 50 moving average is a tough line. And just look at the thing, right? The last time we got over it was in the beginning of the year, and it was very momentary, right? I know it looks like a month, but there's only a couple of good candles in that thing, right? Outside of that, we just keep zooming back. We've basically been under the 50 moving average forever. So don't think it's going to be easy to break. But, yo, if $2 breaks, if we start to get into that 225 range, there's not a lot stopping it from going to 315 right there, right? So that's the most educated thing I can say on this thing. Don't lose 135, 140. Let's break 2 and run to 3. All right, from there you can see my lines up, and they're basically these moving averages. So in a lot of ways, I don't even know if they're worth keeping, but I'll keep them for now. But I don't want to talk above 3 just yet, because like I said, that's going to be a tough thing. And one more time, that 50 ain't easy right there. When you look at the weekly, this is a beautiful weekly. We haven't been over the 8 in a while. Hopefully we can get over the 8 and make a sneaky little run to the 20, right? That's basically what we've been trying to do here. We live under the 8 until we can touch it. We live under the 8 until we can touch it. We live under the 8 until we can touch it on the daily. We've been living under the 8 for a while now. Let's see if we can go and make an attempt at that 20, right? So I think there's actually a decent reason to put a $3 target, which is actually another 100% on this thing, right? But do not underestimate the difficulty of 2. That's the best thing to say here, all right? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's come into iRobot, all right? And look, iRobot's actually been making a nice little move right here, all right? And you know my videos, you know this saying, right? You break the 8, you go to the 20. You break the 20, you go to the 50. That's basically what happened here, right? It's just been living under the 8, makes a nice move to the 20, is able to gap up, open right here, and just red, green, all the way to the 50, right? So it actually makes a nice little sneaky attempt past it too, which is lovely, right? But this is technicals 101 right here, right? This is very green, red. Like, let me just draw this line. That's the only real horizontal right there, right? There's a little horizontal, bottom of that thing, a little horizontal. Green, nothing, red. Made it really easy to just climb all the way to that line right there. And then, hey, like I said, it just got a little sneaky extra, mainly because of that volume right there, right? So this is technical 101. It actually very much is, all right? We do not want to lose 316, all right? Maybe the lowest we'll go, let's call it 305. Okay, because if we lose 305, which is basically right here, right, the next real line is basically 270. It's actually almost perfectly 50% of this candle, and you can see it's basically the bottom of that, the top of that, the top of that. That 270's got some power there. So 270 would be a horrible place to watch this fall. As long as you don't lose 315, that's all that matters on iRobot, all right? Beyond that, we are looking for the break of the 200 moving average. And I mean, I'm zooming out. The last time we were over the purple line was way back in 2021. All right, so it's not going to be an easy line. It's not. But one more time, why are we here? We're here because they are meeting with all the robotic CEOs, and we're all in on accelerating the sector's growth. That entire thing right there, right? They're even considering issue an executive order on robots, all right? And again, I don't need it to be real. I just need those rumors to churn, right? So a lot of loveliness is just coming to the sector. Don't lose 315. If I was to call a money line, I think I'd use 380. Get me over 380. Where are you right there? 390. I like 380. I'm okay with 380. Between 380 and 390. It just depends what your risk reward tolerance is, right? But get over 380, and I mean, really, you might be talking gap fill to 650. I think that's actually very realistic, you know? So where is that line right there? That's at 375. Yeah, between 380 and 390, there's a chance for 650. That's not too shabby right there, right? One more time, one final time, don't lose 315, all right? When we looking at the weekly, 440, I see 440 and then 7. Where's 440 on this? No, I'm not too worried about 440. I like our thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Let me know your thoughts, even if you disagree. Let's wind it out with, I mean, arguably some of my favorite tickers, RR specifically. Look, I often say I do my best to not fall in love with stocks. They're all just little random letters and I let the lines do the work, right? But sometimes stocks do you well and you like them a little more than you don't, right? And RR is one of those stocks, so I like giving that little disclaimer. But hey, what am I looking at right now? I'm looking at a nice channel fill, right? Just green, 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 nothing, 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 red, 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 nothing, 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 makes me believe that we're going to come back up to this 470 line, all right? The 470 line is also almost perfectly on the 50 moving average, and if that breaks, green, 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 red, 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 nothing, 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 you can see the climb to 530 and 625 right behind that, right? So there's some decent things happening here, and really what I like is today's volume was a little less pump and dump than those last two, right? When you look at KITT, there's absolutely nothing anywhere around today, right? When you look at iRobot, there's absolutely nothing looking like today, right? When you look at RR, this looks familiar. This looks like some of those good days from that run right there, right? This looks like something we might be able to repeat. This looks like something we actually might even be able to beat, right? So I like that. I like that the volume didn't go. I mean, obviously I would have loved the volume to go crazy, right? You know that, but there's a positive to a familiar vol. Like obviously you can still roughly call this a pump, right? Like it could dump right back to down here, and I'm not pretending that's not a reality, and we'll talk about that side of the coin, right? But to me, this seems able to replicatable. I'm not sure if that's a word, but I can replicate this volume tomorrow. I can maybe even beat it, because look at that. We had a good 1, 2, 3. We've actually been higher than today 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in the last 2 months, right? So 3 months, whatever. So I like the volume, and like I said, I'm basically looking for that 1, 2, 3 step up right there. Okay, we don't want to go below 4. If we lose 4, it actually might come back down to 370. Okay, because this is the first good candle over the 100 moving average. We have been struggling with the 100 moving average for at least 3 weeks now, and we even almost came as low as the 200, right? But 100's a hard one to lose down. This is a good example of why we always say that, right? So let's see if we can make our and then look, even if we only get to this next line up, that's actually more than a 10% move tomorrow, right? You're adding a little bit more than 40 cents to take you to that point right there. 42 cents is 10%, right? So that's a double digit, even if we don't break it. And obviously we're looking for volume to push us, right? MACD is not quite positive, but I do like the green over red on both, with a very healthy RSI 61 right there, right? Weekly is trying. All right, weekly is trying. We are trying to get back over the moving averages. I don't think there's too many extra thoughts that come from the weekly. All chapters serve together because, like I said, these are two that I like looking at back to back. They tend to follow each other, almost picture perfect candles, right? I like the volume. This was a good volume, and actually same comment as RR. It's familiar volume. We've been in this range during the last little run, right? And yeah, it wasn't as big as RR, but still, right? So I think I would raise this line. I don't think I would use the 1212. I would probably look at a little closer to 1260. If we can get over 1260, I think I'd be more excited, because then I'll be thinking 1380 and then possibly 1670 after that, right? So again, MACD, RSI are not that bad. That's actually a little bit better of a weekly. This one is already over all of it, but there is a big cluster there, right? So yeah, again, one last time, I'm liking the NASDAQ and QQQ. I really am hoping tomorrow gives us a good confirmation candle. I really am loving all of these robotic headlines that came today. I'm loving the fact that it was just after this Genesis mission that I don't really know a lot about. I'll probably do a little bit of research. And then, hey, last thing, if you stayed all the way till the end, I'm still loving Walmart. I'll be real honest with you. I really think this is going to do some interesting things in a longer time frame than the short-term chart reader dude normally looks at. Like, we are pushing all-time highs. This weekly is still not a crazy number. As you go into the monthly, it's still not a crazy number. Honestly, as you start going into the yearly, it's a little high on the 90s, but the yearly has only been over and on the 8 moving average, right? So Walmart's doing some silly things, and yeah, I just want to echo it one more time. You don't have to put your money in crazy tickers all the time. You know what I mean? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so much.